When I was first starting in the fitness industry, there was 1,000 questions running through my brain. But the three that mattered the most and the hardest ones to answer was, what am I selling? How am I going to sell it? And how much am I going to sell it for? These three questions can make or break your business very quickly. Luckily, I did find a process that worked very well for me, and I want to share that with you. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Step number one is figuring out exactly what it is you want to sell. This can be very tricky, and there's three misconceptions that I fell for when I first started. First and foremost, I thought my product was the absolute best. But if you're in the fitness industry, your product sucks. Unfortunately, it's the truth. You have to have your client sacrifice so much to get the desired result that you are selling something that people already know they don't want to do, or else they wouldn't be coming to you in the first place. The next misperception I had to fix up in my own head was the fact that I'm not selling fitness. I used to obsess over the fitness plans I was giving people. I thought that was the end-all be-all about the whole thing. To be honest with you, it really doesn't matter. And what I was actually selling was relationships. We are in the relationship business that serves fitness. If you can get a strong bond, a strong relationship with your members and your clients, then they will reach their results just because they keep showing up to be there with you. They're twice as likely to actually do the things that's required of them to get the desired outcome. If you're constantly trying to push the fitness side of things, then you're never going to focus on the most important part, which is the relationship. And worst of all, they're not going to get the third misperception of why they're actually there. When I first started, I thought everyone was coming because they wanted to work out. They do not want to work out. They want a result. And that is the most important thing to remember. You need to build the relationship so that they can get the desired results that they came to you for. And that will actually lead into step number 2. So step number 2 is how you sell your offers. And when I first got into this, I did the stereotypical break it up based on whatever it is you're offering them. For example, I had a package that gave them fitness. I had a package that gave them nutrition. I had a package that gave them fitness and nutrition. I had a package that gave them accountability and fitness. I had all these different packages. And to be honest with you, it was really confusing for me and everyone else I was talking to. That is why you need to make it nice and simple. And on top of that, you need to keep the end result in mind. The fact that people came to you for a result. And that means they need all three. At DH, we call this the 3 pillars of success. So no matter what training package someone gets, they will always get nutrition, fitness, and accountability. That is a staple. They all get the same thing no matter what. What changes though is the amount of access they get to their coach. Whether it's frequency or size of group that they're in, that's how you decide what packages you have to offer. I typically recommend 3. So on the high end, this is going to be your one-on-ones or small groups. So 1 to 4 is typically where the high end lives. After that, we're going to go into our medium package. The medium package is typically a group-based service. So something where people might be able to meet you several times or quite frequently, but they're meeting you in a group. Typically, I like to keep this around 8 to 16. So these are your boot camp sessions. These are your large group Zoom calls, stuff along those lines. And last but not least are people who only communicate with you once or twice a month. This is typically someone who is very good at what they're doing. They already know how to work out, but they still need all the nutrition, accountability, and fitness plans to take them to the next level. So there you have it. You have your high, medium, low rate packages. Now, if you want to know how I serviced all these people and still gave them all 3 pillars of success, you can click this card right here, which will walk you through how I use my software to make sure they get everything they need. But now that you have this, we can move on to the most important part, which is price. Let's get to the rates. Okay, when picking rates, the biggest mistake I made is probably the most common one. I literally looked at what everyone else was charging, averaged it out, and charged that. Actually, even worse than that, I charged less than that. It made it impossible to scale, made it next to impossible to reach whatever financial goal I set for myself. And on top of that, I wasn't making enough to actually give the level of service that I wanted to each one of my clients because I just had so many of them and there was no way for me to keep up. That is why the best way to set your rates is to do it with the end in mind. Make sure that you have a freedom number set. The freedom number is the number that you can live comfortably on in your area. For example, I live in Indiana. I don't need a high monthly rate because our average living cost isn't that high. So I set mine at $5,000. Now, what's very important is do not cheat yourself on this. Do not set a goal of like 1,000 or some hobby goal. Set a real goal, something you can comfortably live on. $5,000 is still a little low, but for this example and for what I started with, we're going to go ahead and make that the starting number. That's going to be our freedom number. Now that we have the $5,000 in mind, we can use that to figure out how much to charge for each one of these packages. Let's talk about the high-end package. So the high-end package is going to require a lot of time. So you can only service a small amount of people. For example, I'm going to say 10. You can service 10 clients at this package comfortably. Be very honest with yourself whenever you're setting these though, because you don't want to deliver an inferior product. So now that you know that you can service 10 high-end packages, then you need to know how much to charge for each one. What you're going to do is take your freedom number, divide it by 10, and get your end result, which gives us $500 a month. So that's going to be the high end. Next up is the medium package. The medium package should be something you can can double the high-end package with, because they're requiring less time because you're servicing everyone in groups. So for the medium package, you're typically going to be able to do at least 20 people. So if we take our freedom number and divide it by 20, that gives us 250. So that's going to be the rate for the medium package. Last but not least is going to be the low-end package. They don't require a lot of time. They just need your upkeep and managed properly. So you can service double the amount of the medium package of this. So for example, 40. So if we have 40 people, that means we need to run that rate at $125 to reach our freedom goal. Okay, so we have the prices set. We know exactly how much of each group we can service, but keep in mind, we're not trying to get those set numbers. We're trying to get a combination of those numbers. You don't want just 10 high-end clients. You don't want 40 low-end clients. You want a combination of each one of those to get to 5K. Now, I know what you're thinking, because I thought the same thing. There's no way that I'm going to get someone to pay those rates. Well, I'm going to give you a quote. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. At the end of the day, it's all about providing value. If you can provide more value than what your asking price is, people will buy in a heartbeat. And to be honest with you, whether you're trying to sell a $50 package or you're trying to sell a $500 package, getting someone to say yes is still the same. It's your job to build the value to the point where they feel stupid saying no to that deal. That you want to make it feel like that $500 package is such a good deal that they could not live without it. And if you can get it to the point where you feel that and you know in your heart that you're exceeding the expectation of that $500, then you are making it worth their while and you have a valuable product. And if you want to figure out exactly how I make sure all my clients get far more value than what it is they're paying, click this video right here and I'll show you how I do it. While you're here though, drop a comment below and let me know what your current rates are. Are you going to up them? Are you going to keep them the same? What have you been thinking about changing? Let me know. I'm curious. Okay, so you made the comment, right? The comment, it's been made? Okay, now click this.